front-end development. This will be of no use. It doesn't exist only nowadays, I feel like.
5 to 6 months time, you will not need to write your own code. It will become...
Previously, they were demanding for the AI, but now conversation has shifted towards
Technology is evolving. What is valid today may not be valid in 6 months.
data, technology, AI. All these three can always evolve a company, but can also...
So I was in ITC. They used to get cigarettes from Jammu Kashmir after 6 months to test it, saying during the motion where you're transported it in lorry that far, quality of cigarette has not changed.
I never thought that for cigarette also so much of people will think.
Yeah.
Because anyway people will smoke. Freshers, new graduates, what are key things which they need to keep in mind so that they can transform their career?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is...
Today we have someone who has layered his career from past 25 years working as a software engineer in 1999 at Infosys, now leading the global enablement for a company called SAP through AI and data. Sreekanth Sreedharan, welcome.
Thank you, Rishav. Thanks for having me. Yes.
So you have an exciting, I will not say exciting, more of a transformational journey which I see from past 25 years. I'll start with this question. Can you just give me a walkthrough or our audience walkthrough about your career? How did you started? Where are you from? And which all companies you worked? And then obviously we'll go more deep down into that.
Okay. So, I mean, I did my education in Kerala, so engineering there. In fact, I wanted to do physics. That was my passion at that point. I wanted to go to... Astrophysics was slightly picking up at that point, and that's where I wanted to focus on. But at that point, you have very limited sphere in which you can get into a job. And engineering was automatically the choice which came in. So I did electronics. Once I finished it, we realized that computer science was picking up. So we started getting into the IT field. And I started in a startup in Mumbai called Texcom. They were focused on textile software. Very system-based programming where you start on microprocessors, you write your pieces of code using the microprocessor 8086 language. And then around a year I spent there, very good experience. Started working with somebody from Pune University who was trying to build up some very good technology platform for textile industry. And then I switched on to ITC Infotech. So I worked with ITC for almost 4.5 years. Started with Microsoft technologies and then slowly moved on to the commerce platform. Around 2003, I think, I shifted to Infosys. So Infosys around 10 years, did various roles, developer, lead, then moving on to heading an account. I did a sales role in between as well in Europe. And then moved on to the platform business. So Infosys was launching off their shifting from pure services to a little bit into platforms. That's when I started off with the Commerce Edge platform. Then did a little bit a stint with Mindtree, then with Adobe. Shifted to SAP in 2016, I think, roughly. Yeah, heading their expert consulting division and for customer service portfolio. And around COVID, I shifted to the partner business. So from a developer starting off in 86 coding to C somewhere to Microsoft technologies, then on to the platform business, done a bit of roles and now in the product side of things, selling with partners. So that's what I do.
Interesting. So over the years, like obviously, lot of things have been changed in the market in terms of technology. Do the demand for any enterprise customers or anyone with whom you are working or dealing on a partner level, their requirement has evolved over the times. Obviously, 25 years, it might have evolved.
Yes.
But in past 2 or 3 years, the AI wave also came into the picture. What is the comparison of evolvement, the 25 years Broadway to the last 2 and 3 years?
Yeah, I think initially we were trying to focus a lot more and selling to the CIO type of persona, right? So you are trying to go to a company and try to automate processes, saying what you can do to help them automate. and then it shifted a little bit to mobile when mobility came in, and everybody wanted to have a mobile presence, right? Then cloud came in, which brought in a little bit of uh, of cloud related experiences and transformations. But now I think it is very business centric. So you are no longer just speaking to a CIO. You are speaking to a CMO, you are speaking to a supply chain head, you are speaking to a CFO. So all these people, it is their question of survival. So unless and until you adopt AI today, you can't be competitive in the market. So, and without that, you cannot drive the value chains which as a company you want to drive, right? So that's the shift which is happening.
But over the years, actually, the traditional platforms, any platforms, be it on the top of it we are building, be it anything, it also had to undergo a lot of changes. So did it halted the business? Did it impacted the business, overall business in the market globally or India? That did it impacted due to all this change, all this demand? Because if someone is demanding something today, a company might not have that. Is it stopping to do the new business, or how it is now?
I mean, business always leads the show, right? I mean, if something is not being offered, they create it custom.
Correct.
That's what they always do. But what has, over a period of time, what has happened is that because of the exact nature of what you said, people have built solutions which are very pointed also. Now when you come to AI, you need to have a layer where it can connect and understand your processes in wholesome. So when I'm talking about an AI and an agent, I'm trying to talk to an assistant who can help me do my particular job. If systems are not connected, right, today, that particular agent will not be able to navigate between processes, between data set, and give you back the thing or intent which answer your intent which you're coming with. And that type of change is what is happening today as well. So a little bit to answer your question, there has been custom things which companies have built because there are gaps in platforms, which today are being challenged to try and make it more harmonized.
But the role of CIOs have gone, or like they are more evolved now, because we used to see more evolved, right?
Yes.
But previously they might be having different challenges, CIOs. Today, what are the types of challenges they face in terms of automating the process of any particular organization? What are the major use case which comes?
It's immense, I think, because of the nature in which companies have gone, because of the fact that data is lying at many different places. You're also working with multiple ecosystem vendors to run your business, right? All of these things have to be brought together, because today business is asking you to be saying, okay, I need to be more agentic, for example. CIO is now being forced to create an infrastructure which is more homogeneous, more harmonized, more connected, so that it can respond to a supply chain demand or a finance demand. So that's where I think they're getting challenged quite a bit.
And one more thing which I always had witnessed, like obviously we are service-led technology companies, we have a lot of in India.
Okay.
What stopped us in developing any kind of a large software platforms for us which can grow globally from India? Because that has always been a challenge which I have seen.
It's a very good question, and it's something which I have also pondered about. I mean, I think it's a mixture of multiple things, Rishav. I think one is the education background with which we come in, and also the 90s mindset. I can talk to my generation, right? We are all focused on getting a job,
Correct.
right? So, and we were all focused on, it's a middle class mindset of trying to invest on something which is risky, is much more challenging a little bit. I mean, so you try to get into a job, find something really good, and then there were jobs which are coming in which were offering us a lot of things as well. So the risk appetite is also less to do, right?
But job part will always be like today, if on 90s, 2000s, and early 2010 and 2020, people were running after jobs, but still people have a question in their mind in 2025, 26, my job will go due to AI.
Yeah.
And that is one more other fear. This fear of losing a job or getting replaced by something or the other is always there.
Yeah.
But as of today, if I ask, did in the larger technology companies or service providers, be it any platforms, are this is this really happening? Like the low level people, like the early entry level job developers, are they losing jobs, or like how it is getting transformed over the years?
I mean, is there job loss? Yes, it is happening for sure, right? I mean, I think if you open the newspaper, you will anyway know it. But is it happening that you are not going to have jobs in future? I don't think it's the case. I think the roles are changing. I mean, there is one very interesting thing which I read very recently. Many years ago, there was in London, there used to be a job where a person will go and change the timing of the clock so that you know what time it is, right? Today, that job doesn't exist because it's been automated. Does that mean people have lost jobs? No, right? It's new jobs have got created. AI will definitely automate a lot of things. When we were starting to develop code, we were focused quite a bit on how good I can write a C++ code or a C code, right? Over a period of time, that didn't become important. It was no longer important at all because IDEs used to create help in a lot of things better. Today, that is even more automated. Doesn't mean that the role will go away. It has to evolve into a state where you bring in a little bit more business perspective, use those tools and drive more productivity. I think that's where it will end up being. People who don't evolve obviously have a challenge. But if you are ready to adapt, I don't think it's a problem at all.
Exactly. But on the global level, when it comes to having the larger teams, people have started cutting down the teams, or like obviously the new jobs are coming, people are hiring into that domains. The size of companies will become smaller in terms of teams, or it will become larger, or it will be the same pace or same level over the time.
I feel that it will at the moment it is more or less remaining the same. So you are cutting roles somewhere, at the same time you are adding roles somewhere, right? So the pure developer role is probably going away and it's coming into a hybrid developer type of a role, right? At the moment it is remaining constant. Now, based on how the entire market responds to this motion, it may well end up with more jobs in future. That's what I would think.
Interesting. So you have been focusing much more on workforce transformation. Like you worked with so many companies, you transformed their technology or their teams, etc. How does it work actually? If I talk in a layman language, like if someone is there, how this works entirely as a business cycle or as a company cycle for anyone?
Yeah, for us it is like we sell our product, right? So and our product itself is responding to whatever is coming from the market in terms of a demand for AI or agentic AI type of thing, right? What it also means is the same questions are getting asked within the partner organizations who deliver our solutions. How should their people change in terms of their skills, right? That is what we try to do, to say that how our product is changing, work with those organizations to make sure they build in the right type of capacity and capability to deliver these things to our customers. So that's what type of work we do.
Any interesting use case which you have seen in your entire journey that this helped the company to evolve a lot in this transformation? Any use case if you want to say?
Yeah, I mean, there was something very interesting which we did very early, and it's very core to what I did at that point of time was, I don't know how many of you smoke here. Do you smoke?
No, I don't smoke.
You don't smoke? Okay.
My production team smokes.
Yeah, so I was in ITC, and so when we open a pack of cigarette, right, you take a cigarette and you open it and you smoke. I mean, you don't really think of what goes behind that particular cigarette. So they had this use case where it needs, the cigarette packet itself needs to have an easy opening device. So you have a small thing protruding out on the left side. If you open that, if you take a cigarette packet, it is just a plastic cover A piece of that plastic cover has to.
That happens a lot, but Happy
Yes.
Dent also it happens like that only.
Yes. So they start testing from there. Do you have it in in every cigarette cover? That's one part of which they look.
Okay.
Then how easy it is to pull out that silver wrap which comes on there. Then you take a cigarette, when you start smoking it, you need to get a feel of if you are a particular brand of cigarette. I'm not trying to advertise smoking here, but
we'll put that remarks.
yeah, but it has to come in so smoothly inside. The moisture content has to be right. The ventilation has to be right. So you have to test all these things to ensure that the smoker gets the right experience when he starts smoking, right? So we did something for IDC at that point.
And behind this many kind of experimentation has gone.
Yes. So you even the filter is tested separately. That's worldwide. The filter is manufactured at that point by a company called Filtrona. They had a monopoly at that time. So we used to work with them also to test out. So every filter which is getting manufactured in different machines, every 5 minutes they take a sample out. It goes and falls into a machine. Then they test it, and then they have the SPC chart which shows, okay, now the moisture content is here. Now if you keep going this way, it will go out of range, right? So you need to take corrective action. That's very interesting. It's a bit of automation, and at whatever was available at that point of time, today it can be done in a much better way with AI, right? Because all those predictions and stuff like that can be much more interestingly done. Not to, probably in cigarette industry, we don't want to focus too much on that maybe, but there are so many like interesting use cases which you can do in IT.
I never thought that for cigarette also so much of people will think.
Yeah.
Because anyways people will smoke. Even if it's not perfect.
They used to get cigarettes from Jammu Kashmir after 6 months and bring it back here to test it, saying during the motion where you're transported it in lorry that far, where there is snow, the quality of cigarette has not changed. So they do that amount of testing.
Interesting. It's a kind of transformation.
You just smoke it and throw it, right?
People just smoke it and throw it actually. I have seen them like that only.
Yeah.
Interesting. Still such kind of studies people keep doing them, obviously.
Yes.
And on the technology level, anything transformation if I've seen in the technology workforce in terms of educate, like you say, I was having a word with you previously on the fact that transforming the entire team actually, like obviously someone is say suppose early stage developer transforming the career, does anything evolves that also in your particular thing?
Yeah, I mean it is a important phase, right? I mean people are used to writing code themselves. Now you have to shift to a mindset that maybe 80% of it is going to come written for you.
Correct.
And you have to adapt it to say what makes sense for your business, right? I mean that piece is something which all of us have to work with. So, I mean it's happening all around. It's around the globe.
So nowadays, like from past 2 years, there must be most of the companies where people are building on any particular platforms. They might be demanding a lot of AI features, lot of AI things. Previously, they were demanding for the AI, but now the conversation has shifted towards what's the ROI from that.
Yes.
How did you tackle these kind of situations which happens, and do you see that how it will give a better ROI in the future, or like currently what we're building for tomorrow?
Very, very interesting what you're asking, and it's truth, which is happening on the ground, right? A lot of pilots have happened. Now people are asking to move ahead from the pilot.
Correct.
What is important, and if you take a step back, right? I mean, I spend a lot of time with my daughter. She's 14 years old, and she's very funky about all these cool AI stuff which is there. She takes her notes, put it into some AI tool, converts it into a podcast, and she listens, and she does a lot of all such stuff. So if you speak to her and you look at what she does, the amount of accuracy what she needs is okay, 80%. It's fine with her, which is because it's the public stuff what she's doing, right? But if companies has to do that, that cannot be 80%, right? Because that will affect immediately the work which they are delivering to their customers. So it has to come closer to that 100% mark. That is where I think the challenge is today, to scale AI by itself. You want to automate processes, you want to have agents who would more or less act as enterprises or autonomous assistants by itself. Then you need to reach to a stage where the 80% comes closer to 100%, right? With a little bit of a human involvement, which is there. And that is where the challenge is, and that's where we try to say that you need to have a harmonized data. Unless and until you have data which is connected, data which speaks to each other, processes which are embedded within the day-to-day work you're doing. You can do ChatGPT on a normal stuff, right? Or you can use Gemini or whatever it is when you're doing normally. But it has to happen when you're doing your day-to-day job. That is when AI can deliver value to you, right? So our storyline generally is to try and bring it into your day-to-day work, making sure it's as accurate as possible, because you are basing it on the data which is part of your business itself.
But a lot of pilots happened. Obviously, people kept developing so many models, so many platforms, so many automations, everything. I think today, what we're building in 2024, many and many platforms or products or so many automation gone have no use case in 2026 also.
Yes.
And it is happening very quickly.
Yes.
Previously, we built something in 2020, 2015. It might become irrelevant in 2023. It had some people made money in that 8 years duration.
Yeah.
People are not getting time to make money out of something which they are building today. It might become irrelevant tomorrow.
Yes.
How a company or a technology company will tackle this kind of situations, because this will have lot of money will going into this, lot of resources, everything will go. Over the time, how a company or any CEO or any global or a business head will tackle these kind of situations?
Yeah, I mean, that's where I think you have to look at your use case in a little bit more depth in terms of what is the business value it will bring, and not to try and invest on something which is running for a long period of time, right? So you try and put it into life, measure the value, and try and see how you can adapt. Because as you rightly said, the technology is evolving. What is valid today may not be valid in 6 months' time. I remember speaking to, forget about the business value, I remember speaking to a engineer who passed out of BITS Pilani, and I spoke to him 6 months ago, or maybe a year ago roughly, and I told him, boss, in 5 to 6 months time, you will not need to write your own code. It will become much more automated. He didn't believe me. He said, no, I don't think that this is going to happen. Look at what it is today in 6 months, right? You are no longer writing code as much. It's almost 80% written by some of these very strong tools which are existing there. So as you said, things are changing. So don't invest big, but invest in the right infrastructure which is connected, data infrastructure which is there, which gives you value on an ongoing basis. But at the same time, do pilots which are small in nature to whenever you want to try out new things, right? So these platforms which connect your data set together will make sure that you are in line with whatever the market demand is. At the same time, if you're trying to evolve into something new, make small steps into that direction.
And similarly, it happened with me also. Like I still today, so many tier 2 colleges students, second year, third year, they still are learning front end development. I say them very bluntly that this will be of no use. You need to do something, because front end development now, I think it doesn't exist only nowadays. I feel like sometimes people are building anything via cloud. Overnight, people are building the websites, and doesn't feel if you give a proper prompt and everything, it will not even look like an AI nowadays.
Yes.
That also evolvement has come. Still, people say that front end was very popular in 2015 to 2020, 2021, 22 also. People used to get a lot of jobs in this. Over time, it got dissolved completely.
Yes.
Any new role which you have seen which has came into picture limelight a lot, like where new freshers started getting job into that particular kind of roles?
I don't think it's a new role by itself. The developer role itself has changed.
JD has changed.
Yes. So from where you were focused quite a bit on writing code, now it is how much educated you are on some of these tools to make sure that you bring the value out and your productivity increases quite a bit, right? So that's how it has changed.
We go to the next set, which is data now. AI, we have talked a lot, and data is again any decade. Data is a king.
Yes.
People who have data. Data is being used by a lot of teams, lot of people, lot of segments, lot of sectors. What and people still are not able to. So many people are still not able to use the data that effectively. Whatever you have seen in your entire career, that how one can use data as a right engine or oil to run the company over the time in a more effective manner, because many people lose that particular points, and they are sitting on data but they are not utilizing that properly, and they are not increasing their efficiency via that.
Yeah.
Anything which you have noticed in your entire career, the role of data to increase the efficiency of the company or the business, anything?
Yes, I mean, very interesting thing is, again, I'll go back to my ITC days. At that particular point of time, they wanted to look at how to brand, and it was more physical branding, right? So you go into a airport, you see a brand of, say, you go to a shelf, you'd see a brand of that product which is there. It can be a Ashirwad or any of those products which are there, right? Similarly, if you go to a normal shop outside, you will see the merchandise on top, which on top of the kirana store, right? So they wanted to identify which type of branding is working for them when they look at the sales and tie it down together. So they did a lot of churning of data together. Volumes of data were huge, tried to bring it together into one place and did all those things. The problem what is happening today is, if I try to relate that itself was a big challenge because the volume of data itself was huge. Over a period of time, you have data which is lying in multiple different places.
Correct.
You try and bring it to, in between. All of us were very invested in lakes, data lakes, where you bring all the data together into one single place, then you try and churn it, make sense out of it, put dashboarding on top of it. That data goes out of sync very fast because people are generating data automatically at somewhere else, right? And how long will you keep bringing this data together? So the importance of data today is, let data be where it is created, make sure that it gets connected in the right format, so that you can get into a space where you can bring insights out without really losing the context of the data. The context of the data is in the system where it's getting generated. So you want to do that at that point of time, right? That is what is today happening. Without that, AI is useless. Unless and until you have that context in which it's operating, an AI assistant which will help you to try and solve, for example, a payroll problem or a recruiting problem, let us say. You want to recruit the right persona. Unless and until you have the context of that company in which it is happening, that is completely useless. That is the reason why you need to have a system where you can bring the harmonized model of data without really trying to consolidate, bring it out of context and things like that.
Super interesting. But again, data, technology, AI, all these three can always evolve a company, but can also dissolve a company.
Yes.
Both the ways are there. Anything which a bigger problem which you have seen that it stops someone, a leadership team or a mid-size team or anyone working in a large organization, due to all these three, anything which you see that this is one thing which will kill the organization as a whole?
I mean, it's a very difficult question to answer. It's a little political as well.
Something happens, like anything, like for example, obviously, something can happen. Like for example, if people are not putting the right team in the right place, it can happen that way, which I have seen. It can be taking the decisions which was not proper at that particular moment of time, which has made the project or some kind of a launch delayed. Anything which is very major, which we feel around that can halt a company growth at certain moment of time.
Yeah, I mean, there are quite a bit of instances which you come across, right? I mean, there have been cases where we have worked with certain large companies which are very leading in trying to get into the e-commerce space, for example. and they have made probably not the right decisions on launching the product at the right point of time, probably, right?
Correct.
And trying to do quite a bit more as that initial step. And it goes back also to a little bit to your question on how fast does things get outdated, right? So you have to capture the moment. At that moment,
Correct.
you go in, you capture the imagination, give the experience, then you get it right, right? So you delay it too long to build something big. I mean, it's happened quite a few times as well. There are companies who have done the other way around also, done which are small, started well, given the right experience, and then started to grow from there.
Exactly. So this both the ends are always there.
Yeah.
It's just the timing and the consistency which I feel
Yes.
is more important in all these cases. One last thing, to anyone who I think I will ask in this way because you have been into the software and technology space from past 25 years. Someone who is working as a fresher or say suppose up to 5 years of experience, something which the person should take care of to things today, which will obviously evolve them in the future in the career roadmap. Because today's young generation, or you talk about the freshers or the new graduates or in the engineering department, are too much here and there actually. Many people have done startups, people want to do startups, that is very completely different story, but people are there who want to work.
Yeah.
What are key things which they need to keep in mind so that they can transform their career?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is keep learning, right? So you cannot rust at a point of time and say I've done 15 years in IT, I stop, right? I mean, so I'll go along with that. So you have to keep your eyes open for what is coming new, try to adapt importantly. But I think today what we did not do and what I would have loved to do, right, is that to take some of these learnings, and going back to also your question on why we are not entrepreneurial in nature, right? There is opportunity to be entrepreneurial today. It is much more, technology is much more freely available than what it was when we started off, right? So you don't need to depend on quite a lot of things.
Correct.
So keep your eyes open, learn. At the same time, look at opportunities where you can build your own businesses. I think there are problems to solve. In this country itself, there are many things which can be done with technology which is available today. So that's what I would just say.
What do you like to do apart from working? Because 25 years you keep working, you keep getting so much things. People usually lose patience, I have seen. Even in 5 years, people lose patience these days. What do you do apart from working to keep you going in your entire journey? Because it's a long year. Still, you will work for more, I think, 10, 15, 20 years.
Hope not. Yeah, I mean, I'm a lot into farming.
Okay.
So around 2 to 3 years back, I acquired some farmland a little bit away in Shoolagiri area. So I do go there on weekends, try and do some bit of farming. It's very nice. It's relaxing to be grounded on nature, and that's something which
I had another guest from Honeywell. He was an IP director, and he also goes on Friday. He took a farm. He made a 1 BHK kind of a room over there.
Yeah.
His wife goes there, cooks food over there. 2 days they come back to the city.
Yes.
50 kilometers from Bangalore. This is one of the new things which I have been seeing among people. Like they like to do this a lot, farming.
Yes, it's a little more relaxing because you are no longer talking about
Technology.
Yes, technology and all those things, right? You are more grounded. You see something grow by yourself, right? So it's very nice. Yeah, I mean, I do that. I do a little bit of shayari sometimes. I write. I mean, it's not like I'm a professional writer, but I do like to write sometimes. I do read a lot of books, especially biographies.
Any one book which you liked a lot?
The one book which I really liked a lot is something. It's something which I read 5 years ago. It's a book called Half Lion by Sanjay Baru. It's a very interesting book on the change which happened in India in 1991 and how that change was made live at point of time. It's a book on Narasimha Rao, Narasimha Rao, not a politician with a large base, but how he still managed India at a very difficult time. I find it very, very inspiring.
Interesting. A lot to learn. With this, thank you so much. It was amazing talking to you. and I hope that you also find it very interesting.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Rishav, for having me, and thanks to the team as well.